Hey guys, welcome back for another video. We got a good one prepared for you today. What we're going to be doing is our quick fire NFL picks for all of our week 9 matchups for the 2024 NFL football season. We are going to go over every single game by game, all the way through the Monday night game and try to predict the outcome for everyone. Who's going to win, who's going to lose, and what that final score will be. We'll also touch on the money lines, the spreads, and the over-unders. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe so you can follow along with us. Every week we go over every NFL game. We also do the same thing for every college football game as well, both the top 25 and the non-top 25 ones. If you're a football fan, if you are a sports fan, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. This is our quick fire picks. We're going to be running through these games. Try to stay with us. We already have the Thursday night game in the books. We had the Jets winning that game. Score could have actually been worse than it was. Props to Aaron Rodgers and that wide receiver core. They played a lot better, looked really good versus the banged up Texans. The very first matchup we're going to have is actually going to be kicking off on Sunday at 1 p.m. on Fox. We're going to have the 3 and 4 Dallas Cowboys, who need this win very badly, playing the 5 and 3 Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons come in 58.6% chance to win this game. They are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under here is 48.5. Both teams want this win, but the Cowboys, they need this win. They need to get back to 500. If they don't, they will definitely be feeling the heat. Jerry Jones, McCarthy, Dak, you got to put a win together here. Falcons are cruising right now. They have one of the best offensive rosters. They're lighting up. Prescott, he needs to cut down on the turnovers, but he is closing in on 1,900 yards. Cousins closing in on 2,200 yards, 14 touchdowns, 7 picks. Cowboys come in, they're averaging 21.4, but it's the run game, only 74.1 rushing yards per game. That's what's holding this team back. Their strength used to be the offensive line, run game, defense. All three of those things are a weakness right now. The defense is giving up 28.3 points per game, bottom 3 in the NFL. For the Falcons, they average 24.3. They throw for 251, run for 121, and their defense is giving up 24.4. Dowdle's the leading rusher for the Cowboys. He only has 246 yards. That's not going to cut it. That's like 30 yards a game. They do have CeeDee Lamb, but they need someone else to step up. Falcons, Cousins, Robinson, Algiers, London, Mooney Pitts, multiple weapons. But I have the Cowboys getting out the upset win, winning this one 28-24, but it's going to be close. Then our next matchup at 1 p.m., we have the 2 and 6 Las Vegas Raiders, who just aren't really good at anything. They'll be playing the 3 and 5 Cincinnati Bengals, who dropped the last one. They need to win this game. They need to keep chipping away at that loss total, fight their way back to 500. Right now, the Bengals setting a 65.2% chance to win this game. They are 7-point favorites. Over under here is 46.5. For the Raiders, they've been shuffling quarterbacks. They're back to Gardner Minshew. He gives them the better chance to win. Yes, he throws picks, but he also throws touchdowns. He'll be playing Burrow, closing in on 2,000 yards, 15 touchdowns, 3 picks. The Raiders, they average 18 a game, but they're only running for 79 yards per game. That's almost as bad as the Cowboys. That's not going to cut it. They do give up 26.3. They traded Adams. This is a very depleted roster. They don't have a good offense. They don't have a good defense. For the Bengals, they average 24.4. They throw for 235. They run for 89.8. Their defense is giving up 25.4. They got to cut down on the amount of points they give up. They put a lot of stress on the offense to have to compete. Practically every game turns into a shootout. For the Raiders, one thing they do have going for them is Brock Bowers. Cincinnati, very talented offensive core, really talented deep wide receiver core. They have Burrow, Brown, Chase, Higgins. Bengals should be capable of winning this game just based on their offense. They win it 33-23. The next one, we have our Hail Mary champs on Fox at 1 p.m. The 6 and 2 Washington Commanders. What a season they're having versus the 2 and 5 New York Giants. Giants can make this game competitive because they at least have a decent defense. That could keep them in any game. It could turn any game into a one-possession matchup. Right now, Washington, they're the favorites, 65.3% chance to win this game. 4-point favorites, over-unders 44.5. Washington has the better playmakers. Obviously, they have Daniels closing in on 1,800 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 picks. That's not even his rushing numbers. And then you have Daniel Jones on the other side, whether he starts or they bench him at some point. They have no answer at the quarterback position. That's what's holding this team back. Daniel Jones is definitely not that guy. Right now, Washington, a top 3 offense. They average 29.5. They throw for 231. They run for 166. And their defense has been getting better the last probably 3 to 4 games. They're giving up 20.9 points a game. The Giants, one of the worst offenses. They average 14.6. But their defense does give up 21.9, which is actually pretty good considering the fact they're on the field the entire game. They have a decent running back core. They have Neighbors when he's healthy and not in concussion protocol. He's a wide receiver number 1, but they have no elite quarterback who can spread the ball out. And for Washington, they have Daniels, they have Terry, they have Brian Robinson Jr. They should be able to pull this one out, but the Giants' defense can make it close. I have Washington winning 24-20. And this next matchup is going to be some really bad quarterback play at 1 p.m. on Fox. The 2-6 New England Patriots versus the 1-6 Tennessee Titans. Right now, the Titans 61.9% chance to win this game. 3.5-point favorites. Over under here is 37.5. Patriots. Drake May's been banged up. They might go with Jacoby Brissett, but it also could be Drake May, but he was in concussion protocol. Either one of those guys can start. They both don't have very many picks, so at least there won't be very many turnovers for the Patriots. And for Tennessee, they're probably going to go with Levis, but it really doesn't matter. Whoever they roll out at quarterback, they need to get someone else starting next season. Looking at the team numbers, the Patriots average 15.5, Tennessee 17.1, and the Patriots give up 24.6. Tennessee gives up 28. That is awful. There's going to be some opportunities here for the Patriots to move the ball. They have Stevenson. They have Hunter Henry. For Tennessee, they have Pollard. They have Ridley. But they're not really good at moving the ball. Patriots should be the favorite team potentially on the road here. I'm going to go with the Patriots winning the game, even though there's a massive quarterback question. We don't know who is going to be starting. I have the Patriots squeaking this one out, winning it 20-17. And then on 1 p.m., we have the 5-3 Denver Broncos with an elite defense playing the 5-3 Baltimore Ravens with an elite offense. It's strength on strength. Ravens are 8-point favorites. The over-under is 46.5. This game is going to be fun. It's defense versus offense. Two of the best teams at each one of those. The Broncos are led by Bo Nix, closing on 1,600 yards, 8 touchdowns, 5 picks. They keep the game within his skill set, which is dink and dunk passes, short passes, move the pocket, roll them out. He can play to that and just let the defense do their thing. Don't do too much. They'll be playing Lamar Jackson, who's having another MVP caliber season, closing in on 2,100 yards, 17 touchdowns, and only 2 picks, and he's running the ball like crazy right now. Denver, they average 21.6. Their defense, though, is only giving up 15 points a game. That is elite. That's the top 3 defense right now. They're going to make life difficult for the Ravens. The Ravens, though, one of the best offenses, the top 3 offense. They average 30.3. They throw for 252.1 run. They run for 200 yards per game. The number 1 rushing team in the NFL. They were the number 1 rushing team in the NFL last year, and they added Derrick Henry to that this season. This is a very physical team, but they do give up 26.1 points a game. Their defense has taken a massive step back this season. They give up 291.4 passing yards per game. That is worst in the NFL. You will be able to throw on them. Anyone can throw on the Ravens, but you cannot run on them. They only give up 69.9 rushing yards on the ground, the number 1 rush defense. Baltimore's got the weapons. Jackson, Henry, Flowers, Likely, Andrews. They should be able to score on Denver, but Denver's defense is going to keep this game close. I have Baltimore winning it 27-20. And then at 1 p.m. on CBS, the 2-5 Miami Dolphins, they need this win so bad. Tua is back, so their offense should be a lot better. It actually was able to score some touchdowns right off the bat this past weekend. Tua should be able to knock more and more rust off every single game, but you have to play so conservative with him because you don't want him to get hurt. They'll be playing the 6-2 Buffalo Bills, who have a 72% chance to win this game. 6-point favorites. Over under here is 48.5. The Dolphins without Tua have virtually no offense, the worst offense in the NFL. With Tua, they have a top 5 offense, but can their defense step up here? Josh Allen closing in on 1,800 yards, 14 touchdowns, 1 pick. For the Dolphins, they're averaging 13.9, but a lot of that was without Tua, and their defense giving up 22.4. But they have the weapons. Tua, Mostert, Achin, Hill, Waddle. They just need Tua to distribute the ball, and they can move the ball on anyone. But Buffalo, they're looking really good this season. They're averaging 28.8. Throwing for 214, running for 122, only giving up 18.3 points per game. They have Allen, they have Cook, Shakir, Coleman. They just added Cooper to that mix. Josh Allen's not forcing things, playing very, very conservative this season, just taking what the defense gives you. Bills should be able to win this one again this season. They take it 28-23, but a lot closer than the first matchup this season. But hopefully no one gets hurt. Then at 1 p.m. on CBS, the 2-6 New Orleans Saints riding a 6-game losing streak. That is awful. Started out the year 2-0. Things completely fell off the rails, but Carr should be back this game. They should have Olave. They have a very good roster. They just have to get everything back on the page. They're playing the 1-7 Carolina Panthers, who Dalton's still banged up. They're going to be going with Bryce Young again. Panthers might be the worst team in the NFL again this season. Saints are 7-point favorites, 70.4% chance to win this game. The over-under here is 43.5. Saints, when they have Carr, he's closing in on 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4 picks. Just needs to play a clean game. And as a team, they're averaging 23.1, throw for 203, run for 116. Their defense needs to step up. It's much better than they've been playing. They're giving up 25.8, but the Panthers, they can't move the ball on anyone, and they give up twice as many points as they score. They only average 15.5. That's not going to cut it versus the Saints, and they're giving up 33.9. So look for the Saints offense to take some steps forward here. I have the Saints winning it 26-17. And then what could be a defensively focused game on CBS at 1 p.m. The 4-3 LA Chargers versus the 2-6 Cleveland Browns coming off of that win. Jameis Winston played a very clean game. Can he back that up with another clean game? We know he has interception issues. Can he play a clean game here versus a very aggressive, talented Chargers defense? Right now, the Chargers are the underdog fan-wise because the Browns have a 53.9% chance to win this game, but the Chargers are favored in Vegas, 1.5-point favorite, over-unders 41.5. This game is practically a pick 'em. It's going to be close. It's a 50-50 matchup. Chargers, they have Herbert. He's closing in on 1,500 yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 pick. Jameis Winston closing in on 504 touchdowns, no picks, but it's going to come down to turnovers and interceptions. If he plays a clean game, we know that he can sling it. That's the thing. He needs to be responsible this game. Chargers, they average 18.9, throw for 194, run for 117. Their defense, though, top 3, best in the NFL, giving up 13 points a game. The Browns, they average 17.3. They're giving up 23.3. They have a really good defense, but Deshaun Watson left them on the field so much this season, they were put in bad positions. That might not happen with Wilson, but you got to watch Jameis Winston because if he throws a pick, you're giving the other team the short field. For the Chargers, they have J.K. Dobbins, they have Ladd McConkey. This is a hardball team. They're going to play defense. They're going to run the ball. The Browns are going to have to try to match their physicality. I have the Chargers winning a really close one here, 20-17. Then at 4:05 p.m. on CBS, the 4-3 Chicago Bears coming off of that awful Hail Mary that they gave up. They're better than that. At least they're bringing in a really good defense to town. They'll be playing the 4-4 Arizona Cardinals. Right now, the Cardinals have a 49.9% chance to win this game. Practically another pick 'em here. 1.5-point favorite. The over-under is 44.5. For the Bears, they're going to be led by Caleb Williams, closing in on 1,500 yards, 9 touchdowns, 5 picks. This is 2 Lincoln Riley quarterbacks, 2 Heisman winners. Who's going to pull this one out? The Cardinals are led by Kyler Murray, 1,700 yards, 11 touchdowns, 3 picks. Both of them having really good seasons so far. Caleb Williams has been getting better as the season has been progressing. The Bears average 23.3. They throw for 184. They run for 119. And an elite defense, a top 5 defense, giving up 17 points a game. Defense travels on the road. They will have that versus the Cardinals. Cardinals, though, they've been able to move the ball. Very balanced offense. They're averaging 22.3, throwing for 197, running for 142, but they are giving up 25.6. Their issue is their pass rush. They have virtually no pass rush. Caleb Williams will have time to sit back there and throw. He has Swift, Moore, Odunze, and for the Cardinals, they have Connor, they have Terry McBride, and they have Marvin Harrison Jr. when he's healthy. That combo can make this game close, but I have the Bears and their defense pulling it out. The Bears win it 24-20. The defense carries them. And then at 4:05 p.m. on CBS, the 2-6 Jacksonville Jaguars coming off of that really close loss versus the Packers. They'll be playing the 5-2 Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles, 68.5% chance to win this game. 7.5-point favorites. Over-unders 45.5. Jacksonville on offense has been playing a lot better the last few games. Trevor Lawrence, keep the turnovers down, but the defense has to step up at some point. They're getting gashed in every game. Trevor Lawrence closing in on 1,900 yards, 11 touchdowns, 4 picks. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, they've been playing clean offensively for probably the last 5 games. They had turnover issues since the second half of last season. They've cleaned that up this season, and they have a great defense this year. Hurts closing on 600 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4 picks. For Jacksonville, they average 21.5. They throw for 214. They run for 120, but it's that defense giving up 28 points a game. That's bottom 3 in the NFL. They give up 271 passing yards per game. Their secondary gets scorched every game. Unfortunately for them, the Eagles have a very talented wide receiver core. They are averaging 24.1 points a game, throwing for 201, running for 166, and their defense is only giving up 18.9 per game. They're going to make life difficult. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to blitz, sack, and hit Trevor Lawrence as much as possible. Try to force him into some turnovers. Looking at the rosters here, the Jags have Bigsby, Brian Thomas Jr., Kirk. Very talented young wide receiver core, but Philadelphia, they are loaded. Hurts, Barkley, Brown, Smith. I have the Eagles winning this one at home 28-20. And that takes us to our next matchup on Fox at 4:25. 6-1 Detroit Lions versus the 6-2 Green Bay Packers. The game of the weekend here. This is a playoff caliber matchup here. Right now the Lions they have a 61.3% chance to win this game. 2.5-point favorites. The over-under is 48.5. The Lions are cruising right now. They might be the best team top to bottom in the NFL. That's without Hutchinson. He might be back for the late playoffs. Right now, Goff's just been lighting up, closing in on 1,700 yards, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks. But Jordan Love, he missed, 3 to 4 games and still closing in on 1,600 yards, 15 touchdowns, 9 picks. Got to cut down on those turnovers, though. He is banged up. He might not even play this game, but as of right now, till he's been 100% ruled out, I have to go with him playing this game for now. Right now, the Lions are averaging 33.4 per game. Number 1 offense. They throw for 228. They run for 157, and their defense only giving up 19.1 points a game. That's a top 10 defense, a top 10 offense, a top 5 overall roster. Very talented team. Packers are averaging 27 points a game, throwing for 231, running for 157. They are right there with them yardage-wise, points-wise. They can match them blow for blow. This game could be a shootout, could come down to that final possession. Packers defense is giving up 21.3. For Detroit, they have Goff, Gibbs, Montgomery, St. Brown. Multiple ways they can beat you. Passing, running the ball, or with their defense. Any one of them is capable of winning this game. And for Green Bay, they have Love, they have Jacobs, they have Reed. Look for Detroit to get aggressive, and they want to hit Love often if he plays this game. He's banged up. They want to knock him out. They have the playmakers to vertically push that ball down the field. I have Detroit winning this one 30-27. But if we get a healthy Love, this game could go either way. But I think Detroit will squeak it out. And then at 4:25 p.m. on Fox, we have the 3-4 LA Rams versus the 4-4 Seattle Seahawks. The Rams are a completely different team when they're healthy. Nakua's banged up again, but Cooper Kupp and Nakua stepped up massive this past weekend. They have Williams, Atwell, Stafford. He's the Grizzly veteran. Seattle can push the ball vertically down the field. A very pass-happy team, but they do have a lot of turnovers. Geno Smith closing on 2,200 yards, 8 touchdowns, 7 picks. The Rams average 20.6. They give up 24.9. They give up a lot of points, but when the team is healthy, they are a completely different team than we've seen throughout the season. Seattle, they average 23.8. They only run for 89.3. That's their weakness, is the run game. They have to generate a more consistent run game. Cut down on the nonstop throwing the ball. That can win you games, but for some of these teams, you got to slow the game down. You have to be able to run the ball, which then opens up that play action, and they're giving up 24.4. For the Rams, they have Stafford, Williams, Atwell, Nakua, Kupp, multiple weapons here. And for Seattle, they have Kenneth Walker III. Got to get the run game going, and they have DK Metcalf. I have the Rams winning this one in a higher scoring shoot-'em-out game. They take it 28-24. And then at 8:20 p.m., the final Sunday night game on NBC, the 4-4 Colts versus the 5-2 Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota was riding that losing streak. They're looking to get everything back on track here. Very talented team, a top 10 offense, a top 10 defense. Right now, the Colts, they did replace Richardson. I've been saying the whole season, Richardson is not the answer. Flacco opens up the offense because he has the arm and the accuracy to push the ball down the field, which is going to help the run game. It's going to help Jonathan Taylor. Right now, Minnesota is the favorite, 62.1% chance to win this game, 5-point favorite. Over-unders 46.5 Colts. Flacco is going to change the offense. He could make this game competitive, could get them the upset win, and the Vikings are rolling with Sam Darnold, closing in on 1,700 yards, 14 touchdowns, 5 picks, having one of the surprise seasons so far. Colts average 21.9. They're giving up 21.5. And Minnesota, a top 10 offense, averaging 26.9, throwing for 214, running for 111. And their defense gives up 19.6 points a game. They're at home. That defense is going to be aggressive. They want to get pressure on Flacco, force him out of the pocket, try to get him to make some mistakes. And they're only giving up 83.9 rush yards per game. They're going to try to shut down Jonathan Taylor and force Flacco to have to beat them. Minnesota, they have Darnold, Jones, Justin Jefferson, a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. I have the Vikings taking this one, 27-20. In our final game of the week on ESPN at 8:15, the 4-4 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the best passing team in the NFL, but they're going to be down Godwin, they're going to be down Evans. That has to rear its head here. They'll be playing the 7-0 undefeated Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City, 64.7% chance to win this game, 8.5-point favorites. That's a massive spread. The over-under here is 45.5. Baker Mayfield's lighting it up for the Buccaneers. Leads the NFL in touchdowns. He's closing in on 2,200 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 9 picks. But his 2 primary targets are out. Godwin's out for the season. That's a shame. They were lighting up. Godwin was leaving the NFL in receptions. He's gone. Baker Mayfield, you need someone else to step up in that young wide receiver core. Patrick Mahomes closing in on 1,700 yards, 8 touchdowns, 9 picks. He's having the worst season of his career, and yet they're still winning because they have a Super Bowl caliber defense who gets turnovers and gives the offense the short field. Tampa Bay, They average 29.4, throw for 259, run for 131. Their defense is giving up 26.4. Kansas City, they're averaging 24.7, but that defense is only giving up 17.6 points a game, only 82.3 yards on the ground. They're going to shut down the Buccaneers' rush offense, which is going to put even more pressure on that wide receiver core without Evans, without Godwin. That's just not a good matchup here. Looking at Kansas City, they have Hunt, they have Kelsey. They've been banged up. Rice, Pacheco, Worthy still there. They still have the weapons, but no matter what, they have the defense to beat up a shorthanded Buccaneers team. I have Kansas winning this one 30-20. So that's our quick fire NFL picks for all of our NFL Week 9 matchups. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. If you have any comments, drop them below, and I will respond. Thank you.